welcome to the Genius Talk podcast. I'm your host Atul Raj, and today I'm honored to welcome Meike, a powerhouse executive coach with a track record of guiding global leaders through high stakes transformation from Inside to Chicago booth, from boardroom to retreats in grace. She is redefining what bold, resilient leadership looks like. Meike, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Atul, for having me. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome. So, a couple of days ago when we spoke, you mentioned going through a full restart in your life. Would you would you be open to sharing what that journey looks like?
Absolutely, because I've restarted my life more than once, actually, in the US, UK, Germany, Switzerland, and now most recently, a year ago in Greece, where I arrived here with just 3 suitcases. I didn't know a single person, I didn't speak the language, and it wasn't a planned, polished transition. It was a conscious leap, I would say, absolutely into the unknown, into discomfort outside the comfort zone, and into truth. Because I would say each of the restarts of mine stripped really away what didn't belong anymore, like titles, routines, identities. But with every version, I kind of let go of. I got closer to who I really am and to the work I'm meant to do now. Because actually, through these restarts, my coaching doesn't come from theory. It's really born out of walking through the fire and staying present myself.
Yeah, okay. So, most people probably don't know about this, but you have a second degree black belt in Taekwondo. That's amazing. So, as coach and consultant, we often talk about discipline, focus, and inner strength. So, how has your martial arts training shaped the way you lead, coach, or handle challenges in life and businesses?
Yeah, that's actually a great question because it really taught me something beside discipline I use every day in my coaching work. It's how to stay actually grounded when things feel out of control. I don't panic in the middle of a fight or sparring. You have to breathe, reassess, and respond then with precision. And that's exactly what I do when a client is in crisis. It also showed me the difference between strength and force, because there is a difference. From my perspective, as real strength isn't loud, it's composed. And you definitely learn humility and resilience through Taekwondo and the ability to channel your energy in a high pressure situation.
Okay, so you have said you actually love helping people through crisis, while many coaches avoid it. So, what draws you to that work?
Personally, I also went through crisis and I want to turn it around for the better, helping others, being very authentic in my work. And for me, crisis is a kind of a portal. It's fascinating because there is the place the masks fall off and the people finally ask the questions that matter, like who am I really, what now? And from my perspective or experience, most coaches avoid that space because it's messy, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But I personally see it as sacred. Yeah.
Okay, so when a client is in middle of a personal or business crisis, how
Mhm.
do you start helping them find clarity?
Firstly, always create safety, emotionally and practical. That might mean being available at midnight if needed. This is also why I offer 24/7 coaching in crisis situations, because breakthroughs don't wait for calendar appointments. And then I bring in structure. We look at the biology through epigenetics very individually, the emotional landscape through dialogue, the blind spot and personality through the face reading, one of my methods. And I then help them see patterns they couldn't see before. And then from that new clarity and focus on their qualities, especially in crisis, new decisions become possible, and we work on that.
Okay, so you have been doing this from a long time. So what are some common mistakes coaches make when trying to support someone in tough places?
I wouldn't call it mistakes, maybe, methods which are not working so well are for sure trying to give answers too fast or giving direct advices, because if you bypass emotion by offering mindset tricks instead of just first of all being real present, doesn't help from my experience. Because in crisis or challenging moments, people don't want you to solve them. They want to feel held and seen without judgment. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
say.
that makes sense. Can you share a story where a client made a big shift through your coaching?
Yes, let's name one. A founder of a company came to me a year ago after losing his company and facing major public scrutiny through that. He was really spiraling and totally disconnected from himself. And through face reading, I helped him reconnect with his traits and qualities that had been overshadowed by fear. These were intuition, empathy, and also high creative strength, just to name a few of them. And then we paired that with the epigenetic support, which means, the thinking, nutrition, exercising to rebuild his physical energy and also his sleep. Then he had 24/7 access to me, which really helped him through panic moments. And within a couple of months, he launched actually a new venture, this time aligned with his values and not his ego, to be honest. And the most important fact for myself was that he began to really trust himself again and became successful.
That's a good story. So, in our off recording chat, you said something powerful. We are one, we are not separate in our work and life. Why is that message so important right now?
I believe that fragmentation, if you play different roles and really like through the core, it's totally exhausting and robs us energy. When we compartmentalize, we are at work, at home, online, with friends, we slowly disconnect from our own truth and our authenticity. Integration for me is liberation. When I executives, I help them bring their full self on the table and not just the polished strategies, but also their intuition, the grieving, the joyful parts. From my perspective, in our days, we don't need more performance, we need more realness.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So, what happens when a leader try to hide or separate part of themselves, and how do you help them become more whole?
Also, great question, because that happens very, very often and unconsciously. Because the leaders, from my perspective, they become rigid and way less connected to their teams, and also often disconnected from their own purpose and values. When I see that, I use face reading to again reveal the qualities, connecting them back to their values and purpose. Sensitivity, creativity, humor, even softness, and I give them the permission kind of through that to bring those into their leadership, because wholeness isn't just a concept, it's really a practice. What I've seen, once leaders feel what it's like to show up fully, they never want to go back.
Yeah. By the way, many coaches want to be more authentic. So, what does real authenticity looks like in your experience?
From my point of view, authenticity isn't definitely branding, it's alignment. What I mean with that your outer voice reflects your inner values and you don't hide your humanity to look strong. Authentic coaches know how to hold space for others because they've done that work for themselves. As I said in the beginning, I did that too. It's an ongoing practice and not a destination.
Like you said, face reading and epigenetics in you. So, which is a really unique thing. So, how do that works?
So face reading is not about mimics and gestures, it's really the features we are born with. Just our forehead gives me 34 parts of personality traits, and then I wonder, nose, the cheekbones, all that gives me insight into someone's personality blueprint, and it's never judgmental, it's always based on the qualities. I can see resilience, willpower, energy flow, even hidden talents, and it's really astonishing what the face reveals, often before actually the client can articulate it. That makes it easier to get right straight into depth and figuring out the blind spots or maybe wrong beliefs which are hindering them from being successful. And epigenetics, of course, we can't change our DNA, but it's like the keys on a piano. You can't change them, but you can change what comes out, which melody, jazz or blues or whatever. And you can you can silence your toxic bad genes. You can activate your good genes through environment changes, stress relief, sleep, thinking. All of that influences the biology. And the combination of both, because it's so individual to the clients, helps a lot.
Okay, so can you tell us more about your compass setting retreat in Greece and who are they for and what happens there?
Yes, the retreats I organize or I facilitate, whatever the client wants. It's for leaders, founders, creatives, teams at a turning point, actually. So people who need clarity but don't want another self-help week. They want really depth, transformation, tools they can take with them for resilience, for upcoming challenges. And that retreat takes place on various Greek islands in a private, stunning location. And yeah, it's about a combination of face reading, epigenetics, deep coaching, storytelling, one-on-ones, but also group work, which is very empowering. And they take something definitely home. That's my goal to use in the future.
I think a lot of people will going to go Greece now.
Yeah, I hope so. Always welcome.
Okay, so for a coach or consultant who feels stuck or unclear, what's one thing they can do today to get back into flow?
To actually be true to themselves and ask a question: what is hindering myself from the deep change? So, what do I have to give up to go through that change? It's a simple question, but let that sit in and just resonate. That actually helps a lot.
Okay. So where can people go to connect with you or learn more about your work?
On my website, www.compasssetting.com, you can book a free consultation or send me an email. Everyone also finds myself on LinkedIn, Instagram under Compass Setting. And yeah, I'm always open to real conversation and happy to talk.
Awesome, Meike. Thank you so much. It's been an honor and a
Thank,
privilege to get to spend some time with you.
thank you very much for having me, Atul.
Yeah, we greatly appreciate it.